a mistake, I want to apologize to the immigrants in America. I'm in the United States. I know America is the whole continent. I want to say that this country is nothing without the immigrants. This country is nothing without Mexicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Colombians, Venezuelans, Cubans, Honduras.
Tú tienes piquete, mami, yo también. Tú estás buena, yo estoy bueno también. Huelo rico y ando con los de 100. Si tú lo quieres, lo tienes que mover. Tú tienes piquete, mami, yo también. Tú estás buena, yo estoy bueno también. Huelo rico y ando con los de 100. Si tú lo quieres, lo tienes que mover. Lo tienes que mover. Lo tienes que mover. Lo tienes que mover. Lo tienes que mover.
Oh, snap.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave. I'm Gray Mars.
Ken Billions, what's happening?
I'm Doc.
And we got Mr. Rippey as a guest again. Mr. Rippey actually went to the Charlie Kirk Memorial and met a lot of, well, you probably already know, there were a lot of famous people that online kind of. So I'm going to play this clip and check him out.
Eyes on the interstate, the dust on the back road. We're a Friday night football game, the lighters at a rock show. We're the night shift, smoke break, high school heartache, driving with the windows down. We're the dance floors, church pews, suit and ties, tattoos, one big small town. Ain't we all American? Ain't we all?
Mr. Rippey, that's a lot of big influences. I follow a lot of those people. How was Memorial?
Yeah, there's a lot more, but I just said I wanted to fit them all within a 30-second little clip. But yeah, there's a lot more of us there. Good time, man. Positive energy. It was like praise and worship, all peaceful. Nothing broke out. No arguments. No violence. It just everybody just out there praising and worshiping. I think that was amazing. For me to turn on Joy Reid and listen to her say that we're all angry, we're all violent. Look what we're doing, but if that's considered violent, then what's considered peaceful? Erica Kirk forgave the person who shot and killed her husband, and everyone in the audience stood up and clapped for her, and people started crying for her.
For sure. So the crazy part is a church actually got crashed into, and people were shot, and the church was caught on fire. So I will play that clip, and then we'll give our reactions.
In the devastating attack on a Michigan church as Trump-loving veteran 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford. Sanford is accused of killing at least 4 people and injuring 8 others during a violent rampage on Sunday. According to investigators, he allegedly drove his vehicle through the front entrance of the church, opened fire with an assault rifle, and then used a flammable substance, believed to be gasoline, to set the building on fire. 7 victims remain hospitalized in stable condition, while at least 1 individual is reported to be in critical condition.
We do believe that we will find additional victims once we have that scene secure.
Sanford, who served in the U.S. military from June 2004 to June 2008, had frequently expressed support for President Donald Trump and shared conservative political views on social media. In one image, Sanford poses alongside his wife and son, wearing a pro-Trump shirt with the message, "Make liberals cry again."
So that makes our total victim count up to 4 victims. As I said before, there has already been the suspect who is deceased as well. So we have 5 deceased persons from this tragic incident. No, we have not cleared the entire church just yet.
Following the incident, President Trump released a statement on Truth Social saying, "This epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. Authorities are continuing to investigate the motive behind the attack."
Doc, how do you feel about the shooting at the church?
I feel the same way about this shooting that I feel about when they say the other demographic is doing it. I feel like it's a mental health crisis in America. I don't read too much into who his political alliance was and stuff like that, because whether it's left or right or conservative or liberal, some of these people have, some mental issues going on and they need help. So I think it's a mental health crisis going on in America where people think that this is the answer to solving their problems. So I like to be the same way no matter who does it. So that's still the same answer for me.
Ken, what about you?
I'm gonna go in a different direction. The average human being can't look directly at the sun. The sun is too bright. There's friction there. So what I'm going with this is, if there is a entity inside of the churches and a person is going to come inflict harm on the people that are worshipers in the churches, there's never any friction. The entity never melts them. Like, nothing stops the person from coming in. And this is supposed to be, right, for the people that believe in this, inside of there is a entity, a spirit that is extremely powerful, but there's never no friction. So I can walk in the church, nothing is going to happen to me. The entity never stops me. So if those places are what they say they are, I don't believe that the people should be able to walk in there with no friction. Something should. Where's the spirit? Why does the spirit never show up? That's my question. I want to go to the regular. How come there is never any pushback from the force that's in there ever? You want to know what's crazy? My message in church this Sunday was the exact same thing you just said. For real? And it was from Luke 6, chapters 12 through 16. And it said Jesus went and he prayed all night. And he got back after he finished praying all night. He picked his 12 apostles, and he still picked Judas, because Judas is part of your story. There's people in your story that you would rather leave out, but that's still part of your story. And God knows he had to be there for the story to be what it was, and for us to be get his grace and be saved by Jesus being on the cross. So even though it seems back like that, God knows that these people still need to be in your story. So then there's no reason to mourn then. I agree.
Well, Mr. Rippey, before you respond, you just went to Charlie Kirk Memorial. The shooter was a big Charlie Kirk fan, so I'm going to play this clip.
And who shot up the Mormon church in Michigan. He was a huge Donald Trump and a huge Charlie Kirk supporter, a huge supporter of Turning Point USA. Does that mean this is possibly retaliation for Tyler Robinson's assassination of Charlie Kirk? That did happen in Utah. Tyler Robinson's from a Mormon family. I believe he was not currently Mormon, but maybe this person heard Trump's calls for continued violence and decided to do something crazy. We don't really know. This person had a Trump flag on their front porch. They had American flags in their pickup truck. They believed in all these different conspiracy theories about masking and vaccines. He talked about liberal tears. His child is seen holding a dead animal. He loved guns since a young age. He is a very straight, white, conservative, typically MAGA man. He looks like a MAGA build. He has a MAGA body. He has camouflage on. Everything about him is coded to be traditional conservative. And that's why Donald Trump right now is not calling for civil war. Whenever a crime happens, they can even lie about to cause blame against the left. They call for the left and Democrats to be labeled as terrorists. But now, J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, they say, take a step back, take your time, let's take a deep breath and wait for more information, thoughts and prayers. They are shameless in their hypocrisy. The moment Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Donald Trump went live and said, Democrats are responsible. The radical left is responsible. Before we had any suspect, no suspect was found. And remember, the person who shot Ronald Reagan did it to impress a random actress he never met. These people are crazy. We don't know what the motives are right away. But Republicans today, MAGA today, is ready to blame every single crime, every sort of violence on Democrats so they can do huge, fully authoritarian government overreach. And we need to make sure people know the facts about who really did this, because MAGA tried blaming Muslims, they tried blaming leftists for this, and now they have to retreat back into their holes because they can't blame the left for it. But we need them to know that we need people to know they are hypocrites. They are hypocrites, and we need to shove it in their faces, and we cannot let them lie about these kinds of things. Please.
Mr. Rippey, there's been a lot of talk about, the shooter with Charlie Kirk being on the right or on the left. And then with this guy, seems to be the same thing. You're the MAGA guy on here. How do you feel about that? What's your take?
I think it's interesting that he talks about hypocrisy when he's the one that's basically representing hypocrisy in every sentence that he's spoken on. First off, we don't know what the person's motive is. Just because they support somebody, I don't even know if this person really did support somebody, because there was a story that happened back in 2020 or 2019 here in Mesa, Arizona, where there's a couple that drinks some type of liquids, hydrocone or something that goes to a fish tank cleaner. And he's supposed to be like, they made it seem like he's some trailer park person, and Donald Trump told them to drink this stuff because he said he was drinking he got prescribed hydroxychloroquine for COVID-19, and they figured they can just drink this fish tank cleaner because it sounds like hydroxychloroquine. That made it seem like they some crazy Trump supporters. They have pictures of them. Couldn't find out they're actually anti-Trump. Same thing goes for the Tyler stuff. That's why I never jumped to the conclusion with the Charlie Kirk shooter. People on the left were saying that it was all MAGA. They posted a fake picture that's been photoshopped, that's been debunked so many times with him with the Trump shirt on. Couldn't find out what his dad said, that he was actually radicalized by the left. I don't believe any of it until I actually see the full motive. So when they're attaching Trump to this shooter just because he supposedly supported Trump, which I don't even know how true that could be, because all this stuff is coming out that's supposed to be true, but it's not true. It's all a bunch of Photoshop nonsense. But let's just say he is a Trump supporter. Why is every single news article mentioning Trump's name, but they never mentioned Bernie Sanders' name when that guy went up and shot up the baseball game? They never mentioned Joe Biden's name when that guy was outside of Brett Kavanaugh's house with a rifle planning to murder his family. They never mention anybody in politics with the president's support until it comes down to Trump. They saw that they thought Tyler was a Trump supporter. They're bringing up stuff about, he followed Nick Fuentes. Well, so do I. I mean, that doesn't mean that you want to kill somebody. So we don't know what someone's motive is. So I think Doc is 100% right. We need to stop jumping to conclusions. We need to stop attaching politics to certain things and just figure out what the core issue is. What's the common denominator? It's mental illness, it's craziness. We have no idea why this person did this to this church. But one thing I will say before, Ken, shout out to you, man. That was amazing. We talked about the forest, man. That really hit me another way. Now you got me thinking about certain things now. So I appreciate that. But yeah, we just gotta stop jumping to the conclusion and realize that there are some mental illnesses out there that could be the underlying cause of these things.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the Terrence Crawford clip where he got held at gunpoint at his own parade.
Seatbelt.
Step out.
I'm opening the door. You can take
I'm opening the door
right here on my right. I'm keeping my fucking hands up.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro.
Step out.
Can I move my phone?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can really see the gun. Doc, was that the clip?
Yeah, that's one of the clips. The police officer has the gun drawn on him. He said he could see Terrence Crawford's firearm, but he couldn't. And Terrence Crawford's security guard actually came out and said, they came up, they stopped us. We told them that we were armed. You know what I mean? I've been to Omaha, Nebraska. There's no way in the world, the city of Omaha, Nebraska, you don't know who Terrence Crawford is. It ain't a whole lot going on in Omaha, Nebraska. Like, they got to know. So just off of who he is, you probably have an idea of your law enforcement, if he's a felon, if he's able to be a registered firearm carrier. I think they just doing a little too much. I mean, obviously, someone of that status is going to carry some sort of protection for themselves if they're riding around. So I just think that's a bad look for the police department. They gave him the key to the city hours before this. This was at his parade.
Right. Mr. Ripper, you're MAGA. and MAGA's mostly pro-police, and there's an issue with police and black men in the United States. And I've seen Tyreek Hill. You've seen different celebrities get pulled over by the police. Do you feel like that black men are targeted by the police, and how is that with a black man voting Republican?
Yeah, I don't feel as if black men. Well, first, I think that this case in particular I think it's a bribery gone wrong. That's what I thought. I mean, there are some crooked, extremely corrupt police officers. I mean, I've been a victim of it. But at the end of the day, when we have got to stop being so anti-police, because we look at all the numbers. I take Detroit, for example, where I'm from. The aggressiveness when it comes down to black suspects has actually went downhill or flatline. It has actually increased because people are afraid to be labeled as racist. No matter what happened, there's always the type of chaotic stuff that comes up, and these people are afraid to be labeled as racist. Now, do I think black people have an issue with the police? Me personally, I just don't think so, because if we ask the average person who leans that direction, identifies as a victim, how many black people were shot unarmed by the cops over the past year? People say thousands or hundreds, but its actual number is actually 9. And we don't think about people like Tony Temple. He was a white guy who had 2 cops had their knees on his neck, and he actually died. And they was on camera making fun of him and calling him a dead fish and saying that he's sleeping. But everybody knows about George Floyd. So it's just what they put out there, what they want us to see, and it's pretty sick. But there are some extremely corrupt cops out there, and I'm not saying I'm 100% pro police, because I know some extremely corrupt cops. What happened to Flano Castro? Completely unjustified, and that person should have went to prison that cop should have went to prison for the rest of his life.
For sure. Ken, you've been very open on the podcast about everything you've been through. How you feel about police and Terrence Crawford being pulled over as on parade?
I've talked myself out of handcuffs before. I've went down the wrong way of a street, and the white cops, "Are you drinking?" I'm like, "Nah," and he let me go. So I've had some favorable outcomes with police. My thing is if you're in an elevated position and you are already have a gun and it's already in your favor that this interaction could go is not in favor for me, I don't got too much. I think black men talk too much when the police stop them. They already got a gun. Ain't no rap. You know what I'm saying? And for this to happen to Terrence Crawford, he has more good days than bad days. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he just hit a lick for $50 million. Shit happens. And I don't think the police knew who this was, because this would be bad optics on the police, right? That cop probably only make $40,000, $50,000 the most. Based on Terrence Crawford's influence and probably who he knows with the caucus and the Chamber of Commerce there, he could get that cop fired. So I don't think that cop knew that, because that would be bad optics. At the end of the day, Terrence Crawford's class supersedes that cop's in that city. He draws more revenue. He's a walking economy. That cop can be switched out and replaced with someone else. So in terms of class, Terrence Crawford got the upper hand.
I want to show y'all this clip that went viral, and y'all tell what y'all think.
Welcome to America. Tell me what you're thinking.
Just so much.
Kleenexes, please.
I've always been interested in history and the history of black people. I took Afrocentric classes at U of L. My grandma lived at 2821 West Kentucky Street. I've read so many books, and now I belong to a church that's primarily African American, and I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Making her go.
What did I just watch? I don't even know what happened.
Right. Can I go? Look, during the George Floyd shit, right? I remember when a lot of the Democrats, like, they was kneeling and shit, and they was doing all that crying. I always been like, man, where the money at? I don't need none of that. Cut the check. If you feel any kind of way for anything, first of all, I'm not on that black victim shit. But if I am, man, pay me. Let me use your credit. Be a guarantor for my business. Let's do some business. I don't need no white tears. I don't need you to relate. I don't need none of that. Where is the bread?
It's just all virtue signaling. That's all they do is virtue signaling. They gotta let the world know. Look at me. I'm a good person. I empathize with these people, but you really don't, because at the end of the day, I actually did an experiment, and I will post a video. I'll send it to the chat, where I was actually out there with a bunch of liberal white savior complex having white people that says, "Oh, I'm here for you. You guys need to get reparation." I'm like, "All right, perfect. Give me some money that you have inside your purse right now, and I would donate it to a small black business. I would donate it to a black organization, and I promise I will show you the receipts. Give me the money."
Nice.
Oh, well, I can't give you that because you fake. You a virtue signaling. That's all y'all do. Y'all not better people than most people. Y'all not. Y'all don't care nothing about the black community because money talks. Your mouth, who cares?
Right.
Doc, what you thought of the clip?
Yo, I'm missing the best parts of the internet, bro. Like, well, something like this is supposed to be the first thing I see when I turn on the internet. Like, yo, if somebody would have started humming a Negro spiritual in the background, this shit might have went worldwide, boy. I'm talking about, like, what in the, like, how do people even have these ideas? Like, what it came, like, what he, like, they should have cracked a whip across her back and this.
Doc, what if she would have started singing? What if she would have started singing "Lift Every Voice"?
Oh my God, boy! It would have been over with for
now
me.
is the best time to take advantage of it, though. We can all take advantage of this stuff because these white liberals and every company, they try to overcompensate. So here, prove it.
Like my thing is like, yo, the I get what you're trying to symbolize with the chains, but it's not the same. Like it loses like what really is going on. These guys were in cast iron chains. Like this wasn't a choice. You just barely got them on, and then you're gonna take them out, and you're like, oh my God, I could. Like,
wasn't no
like,
language with it. Wasn't no, you know what I'm saying, sexual violations. Wasn't no slapping going on.
And then all of a sudden they felt how we felt for 250 years. So I feel